Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
Can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. Today's topic is Obama, the FBI, and Soros. We're going to go into depth on this Sunday's radio show, and I hope you'll join us this Sunday. It's free. You can stream the show live at davejanda.com. Middle part of the homepage right there for you. Hit that listen live button. It'll link into Wham Talk 1600's stream site. Just hit play and you're off. The show airs 2 to 5 Eastern, Sunday. In particular, we are going to focus on the deep state's business model of death, destruction, and chaos. And in particular, about the destruction of the rule of law. We see it every day, whether it's this goat rodeo of a hearing and prosecution that just occurred with Roger Stone, whether it's this goat rodeo as it relates to the prosecution of General Flynn, whether it's the impeachment hoax goat rodeo that we've gone through. The deep state targeted the legal system, the judicial system, the rule of law decades ago. And there has been evidence of this destruction of the rule of law for umpteen years. It's just becoming more and more obvious. Last week, this past Monday, we uploaded an interview I did with Wayne Simmons, a former intelligence contractor with one of our intelligence agencies, and what the deep state did manipulating the rule of law to silence him. On this week's Insider Insight show, I interview on our subscription platform Barbara Flynn Redgate, the sister of General Michael Flynn, about how the deep state used the legal system, destroyed the rule of law in framing a patriot, the patriot being General Michael Flynn. This came out this week, actually from Breitbart. And it highlights about how the system has been so compromised by the deep state and their puppets, the puppet in this case being Obama. Dershowitz, and I know he has his own set of issues, right? And many people were trying to figure out, what card is he holding that, because there are issues with, he was one of Epstein's attorneys, right? He was alleged that he was involved in some of the shenanigans, some of the horrible issues related to Epstein. And everybody's trying to figure out what card he might be holding. Well, maybe he showed a part of the card with this. Dershowitz says Obama personally asked FBI to investigate someone for George Soros. So Obama asked somebody at the FBI on behalf of Soros for that person to be investigated. Wait a minute. Wasn't this whole impeachment hoax about President Trump actually using his powers and actually utilizing the fact that there was a treaty with the Ukraine about corruption, of utilizing his constitutional powers of investigating corruption? Well, this apparently wasn't about corruption. And this was about a favor being done for Soros by Obama to utilize a federal government agency to dig dirt up on somebody. This is what the deep state does. They do what's called mirroring. They accuse you, or in this case President Trump, of something that they're guilty of. Who's guilty? Obama, utilizing a federal government agency to dig dirt on behalf of George Soros on one of his adversaries. This is from Breitbart News. Former President Barack Obama personally asked the FBI to investigate someone at the request of billionaire progressive George Soros, according to Harvard Law School professor emeritus Alan Dershowitz. Dershowitz says he won't reveal the name of the targeted individual as it will be part of a forthcoming lawsuit. Quote, President Obama personally asked the FBI to investigate somebody on behalf of George Soros, who was a close ally of Obama's. President Obama whispered to the Justice Department about it, Dershowitz said. I have in my possession the actual 302 form. That's the form the FBI fills out when they interview somebody. The actual 302 form, an FBI record of an interview, which documents this issue. And it will, at the right time, come out. Well, no, the right time is right now. But my guess is Dershowitz is holding that, based on probably some other developments on another front. That front being the Epstein front, right? It's all about leverage in Washington. And speaking of leverage, that's part of how they blew apart the rule of law. That's how the deep state works. From Greg Jarrett, Russia probe member admits, Russia probe member being one of the chief rats, that's Andrew Weissman, the one who was the subject of Sidney Powell's great book, License to Lie, that showed how he abused his power as a prosecutor when it came to the Enron prosecution and the Arthur Andersen, the accounting firm prosecution, which were overturned, by the way, because of prosecutorial misconduct by Mueller's pet rat, Andrew Weissman. Russia probe member Weissman admits trying to get rid of President Trump by laying a perjury trap. This is what they do. They try to get you at a government hearing, in front of the FBI, in front of a government official, and they try to catch you. Maybe not even a lie, something you don't remember. And then they use that against you. It's exactly what they did in Roger Stone's prosecution case. It's what they did with General Flynn. And it's what they tried to do with President Trump. Here's what Weissman, who is essentially the pet rat of Mueller, said. Well, Greg Jarrett says, once in a blue moon, even Democrats shock us, or it should be globalists shock us, with their immorality reaches a new low. This is one of those instances. Democrats were, quote, trying to get rid of, end quote, President Trump, in part by laying a perjury trap to get him on the record under oath, end quote, according to Andrew Weissman. Weissman admits that the situation with Democrats in the United States was to try to get rid of President Trump. He then goes into an attempt at laying out a perjury trap. See, he states, there's a quote, there's a classic reason, there is a legal jeopardy that attaches if you sit for an interview or if you say something under oath to federal prosecutors, to the House, to the Senate, end quote. And he was all upset on MSNBC or MSDNC or MS Obama or whatever you want to call it, that President Trump did not sit for one of those perjury trap interviews. Instead, what he did, because of the brilliance of his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, we'll answer questions, but they're going to be in writing. So there's nothing left for interpretation. And we'll do it under oath, but they're going to be in writing. And thereby protected President Trump from the perjury trap that Roger Stone, that Michael Flynn, that hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have been persecuted by the deep state fell into. This is what we're going to be discussing on the radio show this weekend. Great guests, great analysis. I hope you'll join us. It's free. Sunday, 2 to 5, stream at davejanda.com. And if you can't make the show, the podcasts are available on our subscription service along with the extra shows we do, the WTF show, the Insider Insight show, the Department of Advanced Research show, plus all the archives for all the shows, including the radio show. A mere $9 a month, I believe one of the biggest bangs for the buck in all the internet. I hope you'll join us on Sunday, and I also hope you'll support this platform becoming a member of our Freedom family and subscribing to davejanda.com. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thank you for your time.